Hi, if you've been following my run towards Hall of Chiefs and Whiteout Survival, I'm going to give you an update today. I'm going to actually show you how I used Gemini to help me optimize my gameplay today in Phase 5 of Hall of Chiefs. This is the second week Hall of Chiefs. I was a little bit behind and I needed a strategy in Phase 5 to pull me out because I was kind of running out of Essence Stones. This was a hero phase mainly, but there was a little bit of wiggle room for the construction, research, and troops, and I used that to my advantage. I'm going to show you exactly how I did that with Gemini. Unfortunately, today was a crazy day. I didn't have a lot of time to record the actual gameplay, but I am going to show you all the Gemini, and I'm going to show you where I stand on the leaderboards. So let me just give you a quick recap first of all. In Phase 1, I was trying really hard, and I didn't understand that people snipe in this game that hard. So I just went up to what I thought I needed to go, and I didn't go up over the top, and I got sniped in Phase 1. Phase 2, I got sniped again by two different players. So I thought I had sufficient, I was ahead by sufficient amount, and I wasn't. And at the last minute, they came in and swooped in the win. I don't really care about these ones. I really care about the total ranking in the end, but I didn't want to be behind either, right? In Phase 3, I got sniped again. This one is clearly, obviously a snipe, right? Like just like if, I don't know, 500,000 or so difference there. So clearly a snipe again. In Phase 4, I came ahead by a bunch, but not enough to really get me ahead from the previous snipe rounds. So I decided in Phase 5, I'm going to go gangbusters. You know what? I've put a bunch of money and time into this game. You know what? I do want to win. Now I do. I want to win total ranking. So I'm going to go hard at this. And here's what happened in Phase 5. So I pulled ahead of the field by quite a bit. I'm getting sick of getting sniped by this little amount. And it's hard as a content creator, finding the time to record all this and all that. But the reason I didn't get a chance to record a lot today is I had a crazy busy day. So I really needed to pull ahead by a lot so that all this other life stuff that was going on, I was able to do last minute. And literally in the car, I'm executing this strategy. So here we go. Let me show you the strategy with Gemini that got me to this win in the Phase 5. And hopefully, this is translating to rankings here, total rankings, and I have some tricks up my sleeve today that I'll share with you tomorrow because I don't want to ruin the competition. I'm doing this competitively and I'm sitting and recording this on YouTube, so I don't want to kind of ruin my own competition. So after the fact, I'll give you an update on what happened. But let's switch to Gemini now. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I don't want to read all this out, but you have to give Gemini enough context. And I'm trying to tell it. I'm using Whiteout Survival. Here's how much I'm behind by. I have this concept. What if I efficiently do a run towards, I'm already at F29, I'm going to go to F30. Will I be able to promote T10 troops? This would be good for me in the game for other reasons anyways. We're getting to the point in the game where it would be good for me to have these troops anyways. I'm already sitting there at F29. I kind of put it on reserve. I had these speed ups to accelerate it, but I didn't want to do it if I didn't have to. I'd rather hoard it. But then I started thinking if I kind of do an efficient, buffs on the construction and on troops, would I be able to actually upgrade it to F30, upgrade all of my marks, all of my camps to be able to get T10 troops and then promote my entire, army to T10? Would that give me enough points to secure comfortably? And do I even have the resources? Have I been hoarding enough? It's not just hoarding. I'm playing as a mini whale, so this hoarding is coming by way of some of the packs I've bought as well. But do I have enough accumulated at this point that I can actually execute this strategy and have the time to do it properly? So I've kind of put this in words for Gemini. And I told it, here's my current camp levels. Here's how many troops I currently have. This is not how many troops I currently have, but again, gameplay. So I just wanted to give you an example here. So Gemini will go through and it tells me all right, well, here's how many points, can you close this gap of 30 million? And it's going to tell me well, here's how many points you're going to get from the F30 increase, right? Here's the camp upgrades. Here's how many points you're going to get from that. And promoting from T9 to T10 is going to give you this many points. So you're well within. So this alone would be 30 million. This would be 6 million. This would be 5.5 million. So that's, if I wanted to be, close the gap and then some, this would be the trick. Now it turns out I have, substantially more troops than this. So I was really, but it made sense for me to execute the strategy because I had the resources to do it. And honestly, I was at a point in the game where I needed it anyways. We're starting to run rallies. I needed multiple full marches and I didn't have it. So So it made sense for me personally on the account for many reasons anyways. But then it'll get into like, all right, I'm asking it, how much resources am I going to need to pull this off? How many speed ups I need to pull this off? And it'll go through and it'll calculate that for you. And so I went and looked at my inventory and said, all right, I think I have all this. I have what I need to actually execute this strategy, because I didn't want to get halfway into the strategy and not have enough time to do it. I didn't want to snipe it. I wanted to do it close to the last minute, like within the last hour, because I had some life events going on. But I wanted to make a substantial showing here and really, pull ahead so that I didn't have to worry about losing this phase. And I figured if my goal is ultimately total points in the end, then I need to register these points now while they count. So it turns out that phase 6 also has some points for construction and troops as well. But what the hell, I was right there, and you get some extra bonuses for winning this phase as well. So, then you go through and I also asked it, can you tell me if there's anything I can do to make the spending more efficient, whether I was going to spend things on it or just cost. And it's going to tell you things like, running the double duty, the Minister of Education, request Alliance help to help fill the bars. I also had a sea shanty or something like that? No, an oak tavern, I think it is, to increase the construction speed a little bit. And of course, not in this session, but it'll also give me the tip of using the gems to, double your training, your promotion ability, so that you don't have to sit there and click through the UI so many times. It's a useful use of gems when you're going to execute it across a large number of troops like this. And then also research power. So you can make sure that your research power is maxed out to where you need it to be. So I did all that. So before executing the strategy, I did all that. Now, the only thing I was a little bit, not upset, but like I wasn't able to pull double duty because I previously used it yesterday. The cooldown period was beyond the window I needed. So I had to suck it up. That would have been another bonus I could have stacked on top of that. Double duty would have made the creation of all the other camps much 20% less. But I wasn't able to do that. I mean, it was fine because I still had enough resources stocked up. So this is the strategy I pulled off. I basically upgraded F30, upgraded all the camps, then started promoting everyone in batches. Now I did have some other, widgets that I needed to be competitive in Arena. I don't want to spend widgets. So this is maybe something to talk about. I mean, I'm learning the game along with you guys. I know there's people out there more experienced than me. But anybody who's following this journey I'm going on, I'm trying to share what I'm learning as well. So maybe it'll help you. But the important thing is that I'm at a point in the game right now where I'm going to max out Geronimo. I don't really want to spend those widget points on, resources on somebody like Molly, because as soon as Gen 2 comes around, she's not going to be that powerful a hero anymore. So I want to hold those as much as possible. But in the meantime, until Gen 2 comes, I want to be able to be competitive. So I spent a minimal amount of widgets. This is the widgets phase. It was like widgets and gear enhancements. And I spent the minimal amount on the widgets that I could because I want to save them for the other heroes that are coming up. So now when the other heroes come up, I'll have a bunch of widgets stockpiled to be able to make their gear better. And they'll be longer term characters, longer term heroes. But the important thing to realize is, like, and this again was through having conversations with Gemini, was that once you, let me switch back over to the display here, but any enhancements you make to gear, those can be switched to characters. So those are a longer term investment. Whereas widgets are assigned to that one character's unique weapon, the gear itself can be swapped between heroes. So anything I invest in one of those pieces of gear right now, if I get points for it in Hall of Chiefs, and it's a piece of gear that I can transfer to the Gen 2 heroes, all the better. It's kind of like a win-win. I don't have to worry about spending those points. I'll get the points for them now so that I can win and be competitive in Hall of Chiefs. And then later in Gen 2, I'll be able to swap them. So that's where we stand right now. I'll give you another update tomorrow. I'm in phase 6. As you can see, I didn't actually, here you can see I'm still unranked. I haven't started the phase 6 work yet. Again, I'm not going to tell you my plans here, but I do have a substantial amount of gear improvements stocked up. So that'll be my next phase. I'll look at some of that, and then I'll look at some other plans I have when it comes to the same kind of dynamic with construction, research, and troops. I'll look for opportunities to see if I can pick up some points that way as well. But clearly the chief gear score is the bigger win here. So let's see how I'm able to execute that. I'll give you an update tomorrow. So if you like this content, if you want to know how the story turns out, if you want to see how I do in the Hall of Chiefs, give me a like and subscribe, turn on the notifications. I have been trying to go live lately, especially with some of like the events and opening chests and playing games and stuff like this. I want to keep the competitive stuff recorded so I don't have to worry about my competition, but that'll help you give notifications when I post content or when I go live. Thanks, and see you next time.